Very pleasant good evening to you. This is Pastor Robin. This is a Jamaican Explosion, and we're glad that you stopped by here today, approximately 5 o'clock. And I'm here on the Jamaican Explosion channel just for you this evening. And we got quite an interesting show here planned this evening. I have appearing with me this evening Miss Asha Richards, and she'll be coming on momentarily right here. Also, later on today, we're going to have Mia Allman back with us this evening. And of course, lots more. As Tomorrow is the day when Patamar will be having their music festival, and we're going to be featuring Patamar Music light-hearted rhythm album launch today, and Mr. Universe will be stopping by here to speak with me later on the show. So I hope you're doing very well today. It's kind of a little rainy up here in Georgia, but everything's still flowing. Folks are still going out enjoying the rain, and we're just pleased to have you here with us this evening. And I'm going to go ahead and introduce to you and bring on to you my first guest for the evening. And she's all the way from New York, and I'm glad that she could stop by to be with us this evening, Miss Asher Richards. And I'm going to introduce her to you right now. Miss Asher, how you doing this evening?
Hi, I'm
Yeah,
doing well, and you? Thank you for having me.
very good. Welcome to Jamaican Explosion on a Saturday evening, and we are so pleased to have you on this evening. Okay, all right, Asha, you're going to tell us a little bit about yourself and get us started right here. I got here that you're the Global Jamaican Diaspora Youth. You're from the Global Jamaican Diaspora Youth Council. Tell us a little bit about that as we get started this evening.
Sure. So I currently serve as the 2024 chair of the Global Jamaica Diaspora Youth Council, and this was founded back in 2020 by the Jamaican Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade
Mm-hmm.
to one, create greater affinity among second, third, and fourth generation Jamaicans back to Jamaica, and
Okay.
also to find ways for them to advance Jamaica's development. And part of what we do is to create a network for diaspora youth. For those that might have recently migrated, have a network for them to plug into, and just in general, create a community of diaspora youth that are not necessarily those that are only born in Jamaica, but those that might have a parent or grandparent from Jamaica and help create those bonds.
Okay, so we're keeping the connection between those in diaspora and those in Jamaica, the youths. Okay,
Yes,
so the youth could dialogue together, huh?
yes.
Yeah, and why do you think that's necessary?
Well, I think that it is important because I know for me, as a second generation Jamaican, born and raised in the US,
Yes.
I
Uh-huh.
feel like I was kind of not necessarily lacking, but I know from my background, I was
Mm-hmm.
blessed enough to spend a lot of time in Jamaica. Most of my summers were there, but a lot of people don't necessarily have that opportunity. So
Yes.
as you go on through the generations, certain aspects of culture gets lost, and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people feel disconnected from Jamaica, apart from saying, "Oh, my grandmother was from Jamaica and everything like that." But there's such a rich history and a rich culture that is there. So in a way, being able to connect youth to that culture, to their heritage, is important. One, in regards to their own identity, and also just it's a bit of empowerment because I mean, first of all,
Yeah.
Jamaica is the place to be from. Imagine not being Jamaican. So
I can't
being
imagine.
able to really being able to claim that heritage is important, and it also gives, as I said, part of our goals is to find ways for them to contribute to Jamaica's development. So ultimately, it's finding ways for youth to contribute back home, which is a benefit to Jamaica. But also, it's good in regards to empowerment because there's a lot of things that can be done. For example, right now we are running our Youth Innovation Challenge, where diaspora youth. top teams. Currently, we're in the judging and voting stage, but
Hmm.
the top proposals will be able to be presented at the Biennial Diaspora Conference. Apart from there being innovative ideas for Jamaica's development, that's also really good to put on your
Yeah.
resume. That's experience, you
Hmm.
know? So, in a sense, we are important, one, for giving fresh ideas and fresh people to help advance Jamaica, but also to create that heritage and to empower the youth that's abroad.
Wow, wow, and it also gives the youth a voice in shaping the
Yes,
future. I'm glad that
definitely.
we're calling on the youths, because I believe a lot of times when we do not call on the youths, we miss out on some groundbreaking ideas as well as some innovative ideas because the youths are fresher, they're younger, they see everything that's ahead of time of what's coming up, and it's just great to have the youths involved. So, what kind of activities are you involved in that makes this a reality?
Well, apart from the innovation challenge, as I
Hmm.
mentioned,
Hmm.
we tend to do bi-monthly global chats where our these are basically global calls, Zoom calls, where we'll
Hmm.
present on a topic that's of importance. Our last one, we were talking about mental health within the
Wow.
Jamaican diaspora.
Hmm.
So, giving some information that will be useful to you to for personal development or general development or even just general knowledge about Jamaica for those that are unaware, you know. Also, as a part of that, as a an elected representative, I'm technically the Northeast USA representative for the council, also serving as chair. But
Hmm.
with that role, we also sit as representatives on the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council,
Okay.
and that council advises the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade in regards to their diaspora relations.
Relationship.
Sorry.
That's good. Okay, so it's quite a connection, quite a deal of work that you put in just to make sure there's a connection between youths here in the United States and youths down in Jamaica. So how do the Diaspora Council do they go ahead and contact the youths down in Jamaica? How do they select the youths uh, that you correspond with?
Well, a lot of our outreach to the general public is through social media. I think we're most active on Instagram, but
Hmm.
a lot of it is through social media, but also on our executive board, we have two elected representatives from Canada, two elected representatives from the UK. There's three of us from the US, but also we have three members of our executive board that serve on as either chair, president, co-chair of youth entities in Jamaica. So that includes the Jamaica Union for Tertiary Students, the Youth Advisory Council of Jamaica, and there is a third one. The name is slipping me right now, but they are prominent youth councils in Jamaica.
Hmm.
So we have the Jamaican voice, and if we need to reach youth in Jamaica, we can tap on those networks as well.
Okay, wow, that sounds very exciting. Working back and forth and just being in touch, in that and that's new. Uh, that because before we just didn't have that. We left Jamaica and we were out of touch until we went back, or at a later age, or so we thank God for the technology that we have right now that we could actually be back and forth in conversations and sharing information.
Yes, definitely. And one thing I will say, I think part of, at least when I was growing up, which is one thing that we try to kind of not necessarily combat, but create a community of people that are going through the same thing, especially for those that are like myself, second generation,
Hmm.
maybe into the third generation. You kind of have a bit of an identity struggle because
Hmm. Hmm.
you were born and raised in the US, but you're
Yeah.
not quite American enough because I know, at least for me in my household, my mom is very Jamaican.
Yeah.
Jamaican culture is prominent throughout.
Yes. Yes. Uh huh.
So I'm not quite American enough to consider myself like fully American and like that. But at the same time, you
Hmm.
know, among my Jamaican family, I would always be called, "Oh, yeah, bogus Jamaican," you know. So trying to figure out, where exactly I stand. But one thing
Mm,
with social media is
mhm.
that we're able to be in tune to things in real time.
Yes.
There's sometimes I'll know about things that are
Mhm.
happening in Jamaica before even some of my own Jamaican family members. Because
Wow.
you have all of these, apart from, the Gleaner and the
Yes.
Star,
Hmm.
that you can easily keep up to date with news. You have more social media influencers. You have people like Dottie Berry. You have
Yes.
different social media personalities. So not only are you tuned into like general news, but you're also tuned into the pop culture. You're tuned into the music as they drop. Different things like that. So I feel like with the advent of social media, we're becoming way more connected, and it makes things like these with collaboration between diaspora youth and Jamaican youth much easier to facilitate in than, let's say, 20 years ago.
Yes, Asha, and I believe that you just pointed out one positive uh, of effect of social media if we use it in the proper way, in the right way. So many negative things are being said about social media, but it's not about social media per se. It's how we utilize it, how we use it, and we can use it
Yes.
to bond, and to keep in touch with each other while we're there and while we're hearing. And I heard you said music, and I saw a little smile come on your face there when you said music. So I know you must be a music lover.
Indeed, I am. Fun fact, I actually used to make mashups and mixes back in high school, but that was a long time ago.
Okay, all right, but you follow the latest trends with the music. You do follow the latest trends, right?
I would say so, yes.
Okay, so let me ask you a question then. So, what do you believe? Do you think about the reggae music, and is it getting watered down, or do you believe that we have a lot more to come, or do you think it's been kind of mixed in with a different style now? What's your opinion on that?
Gotcha. Okay, so I mean, to be honest, I guess I'm a bit more versed in like dancehall, but I know there's crossover and there's
Yeah,
a bit of a gray area. But
yeah.
in regards to dancehall, I would say it's kind of a two-sided coin. I feel like, and part of it is because I'm plugged into the broader Caribbean network, and especially with my content creation, and a lot of people are saying, "Oh, dancehall is dead," or "dancehall is missing the dance out of dancehall." And first of all, I think that's the furthest thing from the truth, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there are plenty of dances. The thing is, there might not necessarily be like back in the day, you have a specific song specifically dedicated to this particular dance, unless it's like a ding dong song. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's
Okay, all
more
right.
so dancers are creating dances to,
Mm-hmm.
regular songs. One
Mm-hmm.
thing I will say is there is a bit of a rhythm that's kind of lost, but part of it I feel it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just finding a way to, if we want to rebrand, finding a better way to do so. Um, right now we kind of have a moniker that, everything is about violence and things like that. And to be
Mm-hmm.
fair, violence has been in music,
For a
in
long time.
dancehall and reggae music from a long time ago. So this is not a new phenomenon. I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
might be a bit more raw now,
Mm-hmm.
but I wouldn't say that it's new. But in my opinion, I think what really needs to happen to bring dancehall back is
Okay.
juggling. I think
Okay.
juggling is something that is, I wouldn't necessarily say a lost art, because definitely there are artists that can hop on a
Mm-hmm.
rhythm and things like that. But
Mm-hmm.
for example, at the beginning of the year, Russian had re-released, forgot the name of the rhythm, but there was a lot of buzz. It even started a small beef. I wouldn't necessarily call it small, but
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, it brought the energy back into dancehall. People were
Yes.
plugging in. People really were interested in it because two people came on the same track. And anyway,
Yeah.
but
Give it
in
a
general, I think, mm,
give it a lot of diversity. I'm agreeing with you.
yes,
You know. Yeah. Go ahead.
I I think with juggling, because with now, which kind of follows more of an American and Western, well, Jamaica is a Western country, but
Mm.
American European type of pop style where,
Yeah.
you have your track and then you have your specific artist that comes on that track. And I
Mm.
think with juggling, one, it kind of made, Caribbean music because soca also does something similar, but it made us distinct because one, when everybody's on a similar rhythm, everybody
Mm.
has to come with something special to it.
Oh, okay, all right.
While now, like the artist might be mediocre per se,
Yeah.
but because the backing that's behind them is good and it sounds good with that particular sound, is like, okay, yeah, this is cool, but it's not as great as it could be. And I feel like there are some artists that might be a bit overrated because of it, and some that might be underrated because they just don't have that kind of vocative. But if they had juggling rhythms where everybody has to hop on the same rhythm and bring something unique, something
Okay.
big to it. And I'm not saying that the rhythm specifically doesn't have anything to do with it. For example, the Wally rhythm has
Mm-hmm.
hit upon hit upon hit upon hit on it. There's something about that rhythm. But being able to bring an authentic sound, you can't all come on the sound sounding the same.
Got you.
So it
Love that.
can really bring those that are unique and
Mm-hmm.
truly talented to the forefront. And I think
Nice.
that's what's missing.
Okay, all right. So we're hearing from Asia Richards. She's the Global Jamaican Diaspora Youth Council representative, and she's on here giving us a little taste of what she believe about the reggae music right now. And I definitely agree with you on the things that you're saying here. So Asia, I also understand that you are the executive assistant for the mayor's migration council, and that's another hat that you wear. Tell us about that, and give me a little background on that. Okay, for the mayor
Sure.
migration. Okay, go ahead. Hmm.
So, the Mayors Migration Council, we are a coalition of mayors from around the world. I believe we currently serve 8 to 10 mayors from around the world.
Hmm.
And our whole mantra is trying to get mayors more in the forefront when it comes to migration policy, discussions on migration, because what we found is that most migrants, when they migrate to wherever they go to, they tend to go to cities as opposed to just, anywhere in a country, as you
Hmm.
can imagine. And most of the time, when it comes to funding and projects for migrants and refugees, oftentimes, especially when you're looking at bigger entities such as the UN, the
Hmm.
IOM, the International Organization of Migration, and such, they
Hmm.
tend to go to countries at a national level. And then by the time it trickles down to the municipal level, to the
Hmm.
cities, it's limited funding and there's not much that they can do. And what a lot of people don't understand is local governments actually affect you much more than national governments, especially when you're in larger countries.
Hmm.
So being able to help mayors to implement, well, not necessarily help them implement, but give them a platform to
Hmm.
say, hey, this is the project that we want to do to assist migrants and refugees. And also, these projects sometimes don't just cater to those. Sometimes it helps uplift, those that are low income and poor in their communities, but
Hmm.
helping them to secure funding for those projects, making sure those projects are sustainable, and also giving them a voice on global platforms, such as last year, the Global Refugee Forum, making sure that mayors were present and in those discussions. And that is what we try to do as a council.
Okay, wow. Oh, okay. So that's quite a work there. Executive assistance for the mayor's migration council, and I don't think I ever heard of that before. I saw it on your qualifications here, so that's interesting right there. So they have people that come from different nations that different countries that are also mayors.
Yes, so we have 8 to 10 leadership cities,
Mm-hmm.
some of which include Amman in Jordan. Previously, we had Bristol in the UK. We have Kampala in Uganda. It's
Mm-hmm.
really a global mix of cities. But also, we have other cities that are a signatory, or we've helped to work on certain projects with them. So we have over 100 cities in that regard, even though they're not necessarily on the leadership board.
Mm-hmm.
And the Mayor's Migration Council, our leadership is technically the mayor's, but we also have a team of 10 people right now that
Mm-hmm.
help to facilitate, make sure that the wheels are running. So I'm the executive assistant that works not just with the executive director, but also to help with cross team collaboration because we have city diplomacy and we have city practice. City practice is more towards the projects, and city diplomacy is more so, getting mayors to
Mm-hmm.
global stages, making sure that international partners are involved, and just a whole team of us trying to make sure that everything is coordinated.
Wow, wow, that's excellent. Great work. So, how did you get involved in all of these things? How did you actually get involved? Because these seems like there's a lot of things that you were involved in. How did you evolve to get involved?
Well, it's funny because I was writing something the other day and they said to talk about my journey and how it
Yeah.
has helped me
Mhm. Mhm.
grow. But honestly, I my journey has not really been linear. It's been linear in a sense, but it's had
Mhm.
many a side quest. So,
Okay.
I would say, how do I start this? But I mean, I was born and raised in the US, as I said, to a low to middle income household, single parent.
Mhm.
And from there, I kind of not only saw certain things because I was extremely bright and was placed in gifted and talented programs since the fourth grade. And that
Mhm.
kind of put me in a place where not only I could see the socioeconomic differences in my own community,
Mhm.
which in high school it actually led me to do some advocacy to increase the representation of minorities in gifted and talented programs in my county. That
Mhm.
actually resulted in universal magnet placement texting in the third grade. That's something
Mhm.
I specifically lobbied for. So
Mhm.
I'm happy about that. But seeing the socioeconomic differences in my own community, but also, knowing that I come from a low to middle income household and spending my summers in Jamaica, in rural Jamaica, and
Okay.
saying, okay, um, you know, while I might not be well off in the US,
Mhm.
there are certain things that I take for granted that my family goes through regularly.
Mhm.
So, and also, just, every Friday, mommy going to Western Union to send off money and things like that. These are things that I grew up knowing and understanding. So I'm saying, okay, what can I do
Yes.
to, I got a lot of opportunities while here. The fact that I was able to go into these gifted and talented programs that
Mhm.
really put me on a trajectory to succeed in life,
Mhm. Mhm.
honestly. What can I do to pay it forward? And that's how
That's good.
I
That's good.
decided to go into the profession of international development. I got
Mhm.
into a lot of advocacy.
Mhm.
More recently, with the pandemic, I got more time to go into my creative side. I've always been creative and into arts. My mother
Mhm.
was a graduate of Edna Manley, so I guess the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. So,
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Okay.
yes,
Mhm.
so I started doing some arts. When I went to college, I was also on the dance team. I'd always kind of done dance, I did step. But
Mhm.
last year, I participated in a pageant, the Miss Caribbean Full Figured USA pageant, and I won.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
I am
Yeah.
the reigning queen of the Miss Caribbean Full Figured USA pageant. So it has taken me many different places. I also do a bit of content creation. I think that's in a sense, I do flag inspired, not in a sense, I do flag inspired makeup looks, but
Okay.
I try to embody the Caribbean and share Caribbean culture as much as I can. In undergrad, I founded
Mhm.
and led the Caribbean Student Association at my undergraduate
Mhm.
institution. And I
Okay.
feel like my content creation was a bit of a continuation of that, sharing Caribbean
Mhm.
culture with the
Mhm.
world, because we are a unique set of people that have influences from around the world and have our
Mhm.
own influence on the world that a lot of people might not realize. So sharing that with people and sharing it through beauty, my whole mantra for my content creation is where beauty meets culture. So being
That's
able to
great.
share that with people. And then furthermore, I got my graduate degree straight out of undergrad, actually from
Wow.
Columbia University.
Wow. That's great.
I got my master's of public administration and development practice. I graduated last year.
Congratulations.
And thank you, thank you. And I remembered I joined the Diaspora Youth Council my senior year of undergrad,
Mm-hmm.
and I became really active. I know
Mm-hmm.
that they had wanted someone last minute to to moderate a session. I made myself available for that. There was a campaign to exonerate Marcus Garvey. I was pretty active in regards to making flyers. I also kind of led the college students and international student group for the Northeast USA. And when the Northeast USA representative at the time had to step down for personal reasons, she recommended my name to take over for her term. I finished out her last year as the Northeast rep. And then during the elections in 2022, I had won, and now I'm serving my full 3 year term. And this year I was selected as chair of the council. Our chairship run changes every year.
Okay, wow. Well, congratulations. And I believe you're doing an excellent job and you're based up there in New York. And wow, what a work you and you seem to enjoy it. So tell me about enjoying what you do. Why is it important?
Well, I feel that my calling in life is to really help people.
Hmm.
Again, I'm cognizant of the opportunities granted to me,
Hmm.
and I want to be able to pay that forward to other people. And I
Hmm.
don't know, something about knowing that I've made an impact in somebody's life, made an impact on the world,
Hmm.
makes me happy. But also there's being able to strike that balance, my serious work with the council and my job and my work in international development, but also, I do pageantry, which also, mind you, is also serious work, but it's
Hmm.
more on the creative side. I get to tap into my creative side, and I love anything creative, anything DIY. That is me. Dance and music and art. I love that. So being able to balance the two with my content creation also being a bit of an outlet, my makeup being a bit of an outlet.
Hmm.
So being able to strike that balance as well is important.
Wow, that's great. Wow, excellent. So what's next for you? What's next for you?
What is next for me? Firstly, there is the Diaspora Conference that is happening in June. If anybody hasn't gotten their tickets yet or have registered, early bird has been extended. So that will be taking place at the Montego Bay Convention Center from the 16th to the 19th of June. I encourage you guys to be there. With the Youth Innovation Challenge, you'll see the presentations that will be happening. We also have a panel on how youth can contribute to Jamaican development, even if you may have limited funds.
Hmm.
Many of us are college students just starting out in our career. So finding other ways that you can help and contribute to Jamaica apart from major investments that you might not have the means to do at this point in your life. But yeah, setting that pathway. So that is one thing that I have coming up. Um, Additionally, I will be, handing over the crown for the Miss Caribbean Full Figured USA crown in July. So that is another thing that is coming up for me. But also, I've started to dabble a little bit into modeling since then.
Okay.
So we'll see where that takes me. Hopefully, I actually am just moving into apartment. So once that is all settled, I want to be able to get more into dance, do much more content creation. I've been a bit stagnant this year because I've been trying to get things together with my new job and the new apartment and everything. So once I'm settled there, expect to see more content from me.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Okay. Wow. So it's been a pleasure having you with me today here on Jamaican Explosion, and we just look forward to the things that you're going to be doing within the coming year, and the diaspora conference. taking place down
Yes.
there in on the 16th in Montego Bay. Okay, I'm glad to see that they have youth representation there, and the youths will actually be. Do you know what day per se, or the youths will be on, or?
So
Mm-hmm,
the presentations, we're doing the top three teams, so there will be a presentation on each day.
mm-hmm,
The full program is not 100% set in stone, so I can't
mm-hmm,
say exactly when the youth panel will be,
mm-hmm.
but there should be a youth presentation at least every day.
Okay, wow. So that's great. That's great. So wow. So folks, if you're going down to the 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 diaspora conference down in Montego Bay, it's from the 16th to the 19th of June. You definitely want to drop in and to the Global Youth Diaspora uh, uh, part of the conference, and of course you will see Miss Asha Richards in person, right?
Yes, you will.
Okay, well, great. So I'm glad that you're able to join me on this platform called Jamaican Explosion, and I'm looking forward to having you back in a couple of months and find out how everything's going. Okay,
All right.
if
Thank you
that's
for
all right.
having me.
Okay, very good. So you keep doing what you're doing, and it's been a pleasure having you here at the Jamaican Explosion today. Okay,
Okay,
all
thank
right.
you.
Anything you want to say to the audience before you leave?
I guess the last thing that I will say is remember, the youth are not just our future, the youth are our now. So ensure that you give them a voice, include youth in what you're doing, and truly listen because we have some great ideas out there. So definitely plug into youth, and also for those that are from Jamaica, be sure to teach your children about Jamaica and get them connected. We have our council and we can do as much as we can, but really the interest starts at home. So always, even though I know it can be busy, it can be hard, try and just, whether it's just telling stories about your childhood or anything like that, get your youth, make it a point to tell your children about Jamaica and get them interested in Jamaica.
All right. Thanks, Asha. Looking forward to having you back here again. Have a blessed evening. Okay.
You too. Thank you.
Very good. Yes, indeed, folks. This is Pastor Rob here. I'm at Jamaican Explosion, and we just finished a wonderful interview with Asha Richards, Global Jamaican Diaspora Youth Council representative, and also executive assistant for the Mayor's Migration Council. And we're going to be looking forward to having her here again. And we're getting ready now to go into our next guest. And if we could get her on here, and that's from Patamar Music. We're going to have Miss Universe. We call her Universe, but she's a singer with the Patamar Music group. And I know they're getting rehearsals started down in the function in Covington, Georgia. But we are hoping that she's logging in. I wanted to turn her video on, but I guess let me see if she got her audio on. But I wanted to turn her video on. Miss Universe, are you there?
I'm
You got your
here.
well,
I'm here.
you're not turning your audio on. Okay, okay. You got to line up that camera so we could see you in the car. Okay. Come on into the screen, into the. I'm seeing your face, but I'm seeing it just a little bit of your face.
I'm,
Yeah. So you
I'm
got.
glad Dr. Pastor Rob.
Okay. All right. So you're driving back. Okay. So can you talk to me a little bit about Patamar? What's going to go on tomorrow?
Well, we have a grand expectation for the Spirit of God to come down in our event, and we're gonna have fellowship. The artist is here, and we're just looking forward to a blessed show.
Okay, okay. I wish we could see your face, but I see that you're driving and you got the camera. Okay, all right. So, what can we expect to? Oh, yeah, that's much better, much better, much better. What can we expect tomorrow evening in Covington? the from the purpose, the Fatima, the purpose, the point, the praise, the passion. Tell us.
Yes, you can expect to be enriched with the different ministers of the gospel of Christ. You can expect to have a spectacular time worshiping the Lord, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So
Okay, yes, and
it's
we're
all
looking.
about fellowshipping with, the body of Christ.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna play a little bit of the 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 Fatima mix of the artists is right here, and hopefully the guests will be able to hear it. Just so let's hold tight right here.
Yes.
Okay, so we just ran down a list. I don't know if you could hear it because I know you're driving. Uh,
Yes, sir. I heard a little bit of it.
okay, so you know so they kind of know what's going on, and give us the location once again if you have it, and then if not, I'll put it up here
Yes,
on the
it's
screen.
941 South Main Street, Northeast, Conyers, Georgia 30012.
Okay, and admission is $30 and $35 at the door. This
Yes,
this coming uh, tomorrow evening to be exact. Okay, all right. So
tomorrow night. I'm so excited.
I could see, and and also the different artists that are coming from out of town. Are they here yet, or are you going to be picking them up? What's the
I'm actually picking up one artist right now
okay? All
from the
right.
airport. So, yeah.
Okay, so that's great. Okay, and of course, tell us a little bit about uh, the Patamar experience. Just real quick. I know you're driving, so real quick.
Well, as I said, Panama Music on the last interview is a representation of the three musical personalities, which is Patrick, Tony, and then Tamara, and that makes up Panama Music. We are just trying to create a diverse music experience for all our listeners, and starting with the body of Christ, and just striving to be, true to His words is what we the, mu- the is is what's the word is portrayed in the music we make. I was looking for a different word, but it represents.
It
It's
represents
represented.
right,
That's the word.
right.
Yeah, in the music we create. So yeah, that's pretty much our experience. We've been trying for a long time, and it looked like God just brought us together. 3 years ago when we started out. Um, as a unit, and yeah, we're striving to just create a positive, meaningful music experience for all our listeners. Yeah,
Okay, very good, very good. So
with
we're
the guidance of Christ.
okay. I know you always want to make that universe. You want always wanted everybody to know that this is a movement for Christ, huh?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So, all right. How was the rest of the family doing? Mr. Roach, is he doing all right? And we're gonna
Yes,
hear.
he's doing well. He's actually at church as we speak. Just trying to pray on behalf of tomorrow and, you
Yeah.
know, just so that we can have a good experience.
Yes, 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 yes. And once again, that's taking place at, of course, 941 South Main Street in Conyers, Georgia, 30012. Admission 35. $30 and $35 at the door, and you definitely want to go check it out. It's the Potamar Music Light-Hearted Rhythm album launch.
Yes.
It taking place tomorrow evening. And we got Universe with us right here, and I'm not going to ask her to give us anything live because she's driving. But normally when I have her sitting down and so forth, that she always got to, could bust the tune. But I don't want to interfere with her driving.
I can sing. It's a red light.
Right.
Living lighthearted is so much better. There are things in our life that we face and we know not how to explain. Get more tomorrow at 7 p.m. Come check us out.
All right, Miss Universe, you do your thing every time. Okay, love it, love it, love it. Okay, so we're not going to keep you. Going to make sure that you get to wherever you're getting to safe this evening. And it's been our pleasure to have you here with us this evening. Looking forward to coming down tomorrow. And what time we get started down there tomorrow? Tell us what
At
time we get started.
7. So please arrive so you can get your seats because first come, first serve on the seat.
Okay, very good. Looking forward. I haven't been in the Conyers area for a concert in a while, so that's going to definitely be a treat. Looking forward to that,
Yes.
of course, I know you guys are going to show up and show out, as we say in the gospel arena. So looking forward to that,
Yes.
and of course, I know. Miss Universe, that you do a good job. Everyone does a good job, and I'm looking forward to some of the artists that are coming in from actually England too. What about and we got Sunny Days here. Sunny Days, Sunny Days.
Yes.
Okay.
That's who I'm going to pick up right now. If I was there, he could have been on with me, but that's exactly who I'm going to get right now.
Okay, so I'm gonna leave out to this interview with a little bit of Sunny Days. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Sir, sorry.
Yeah, there. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So tomorrow evening, you do not want to miss it. The place to be tomorrow evening, of course, Conyers, Georgia, 941 South Main Street.
Hmm.
Conyers, wow, Patamar, music, a light art, rhythm release. And you want to be in the place to be tomorrow evening, okay? All right, Miss Universe, until tomorrow evening, we'll see
Yes, God
you.
bless you, Pastor Rob. And I just want to big up Padamar Music Team. I want to big up all the followers of Pastor Rob's show. I want to big up all the followers of Padamar and all the followers in the body of Christ. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. You're most well. Always a pleasure to have you here, and we're gonna have you live back one day when this is all over, so we could just hear a gamut of your songs and enjoy that beautiful voice. Okay.
Oh, thank you so much.
God bless you now. Okay.
God
Until
bless
next
you.
time.
Bye bye.
Okay. Yes, indeed, folks. This is Jamaican Explosion. Pastor Rob with you in the background sounds courtesy of none other than the light-hearted rhythm Patamar music. Yes, indeed, folks. Very pleasant good evening to you. This is Pastor Rob here on Jamaican Explosion on a Saturday evening, approximately 5:47. In a couple of minutes, we're going to have the Strength to Breed coming up. Two wonderful ladies are going to stop by here to speak about mental health with me this evening, and I'm looking forward to that this evening. Okay, how are you doing out there this evening in wherever you are? In Jamaican Explosion land. Are you enjoying the show this evening? If you are, make sure you log on to our chat overlay and you can speak to us right here. Pastor Rob here in the studios today. Okay, and I would just want to remind you once again about the show that's happening at 941 South Main Street, Conyers, Georgia, tomorrow. Purpose, the point, the praise, the passion, and come on out and it's a great gospel celebration. And as our former guest told us, sometimes in the reggae industry, you will have a rhythm, and you'll find a lot of artists that get together and they give their rendition of singing on the rhythm. So that's called a rhythm release, and you have different artists that will be performing on the light-hearted rhythm tomorrow. And this rhythm, we just spoke to Miss Universe. She's the one that originated the light-hearted rhythm, and she's got guests coming in from Canada, folks from here, Anonymous, and other folks from here that will be performing on the rhythm tomorrow evening. So we want to invite everyone to come on down, and check it out for yourself. Come on down and enjoy the festivities that are in store for you tomorrow evening. This is a Jamaican Explosion once again, 5:49, and we're just glad to be here this evening. I want to say a big shout out going out to Mr. Wesley this evening. Wesley, how are you doing out there? I know you're listening, and we want to say big ups to Mr. Wesley this evening as he is listening to Jamaican Explosion this evening. It's good to have you with us this evening, and wherever you may be listening for, whatever time you may be listening from, it's always a pleasure to have you in at Jamaican Explosion, where we explore the best things about Jamaica at home and abroad, and you get it here on Saturday evenings, and you could pick it up whenever you turn on your internet. Just tune into Jamaica Explosion. Before we add Miss Asher Richards And wow, what an interview we had with her today from the Global Jamaican Diaspora Youth Council. Coming up, we'll be having Master Coach Mia Allen at approximately in another 10 minutes or so. And of course, we also have with us this evening Miss Debbie Garrett, poet, motivational speaker, writer, and advocate. And she'll be stopping by here along with Miss Allen this evening, and they're going to be speaking about mental health, women's mental health issues, and also about the men mental health issues. So we want you to stick and stay. Don't you touch that dial. Don't you go anywhere. And this is Pastor Rob once again. It's my pleasure to be here with you today. It's my pleasure to be here, just uh, giving to you the very best in what's happening in and around the Atlanta, the Jamaica, New York area. Okay, all right. So with that said, I want to just big ups to all those that came down to the Atlanta, Jamaica Caribbean Community, no, the Atlanta Association ball launch yesterday over at Mikey Sparkles, and I want to big up all the crew that's over there at Sparklebees this evening, and thank Mikey for allowing us to use the Sparklebees yesterday evening for the ball launch. And I want to let everyone know that on August 10th, we are planning the number one ball in the Atlanta area. And it's going to be at the Marriott Marquis downtown by the Airport Marriott. And you definitely want to come check it out. Put on by the Atlanta Jamaica Association and the educational committee, and we'll be giving away scholarships on that day to deserving youths. Award giveaways will be happening that evening to those individuals within the Atlanta area who are doing outstanding jobs. So we definitely want to have you come out, and we'll have more of that as we go forward in the coming weeks right here at Jamaican Explosion about the Atlanta uh, uh, Association, Atlanta Jamaica Association ball that will be coming our way in August. Okay. Also, just want to remind everyone here that the Clarendon College that they will be having an event coming up pretty soon, and I'm going to see if I could pull that up here for you. Just give me a moment or so, and we'll try to get that up here. Tell you a little bit about their annual event by the Clarendon College crew. Okay, so it's just been a pleasure to be here with you this evening, and I hope you uh, uh, enjoy have enjoyed the past interview. I hope everybody will be going out to Patamar tomorrow, not because it's a gospel event. Sometimes we tend to stay away from those, but going out and get your praises on, going out and get your blessings on, going out and enjoy a beautiful Sunday evening of just praising the Lord with the Patamar crew, light-hearted rhythm, and while you're there, shake a leg or two in the name of Jesus, as Pastor Rob will say. So it's great to be here this evening, and I'm still working on getting the Caribbean the a little bit more information on the Clarendon College. I'm gonna let me get in there for a second here. Gonna get that up for you in just a second. Okay. All right. I see Miss Mia. She's already signing on here, and I might just go ahead and put and bring her on a little early. If she's ready, but she's getting herself ready to come on and grace us with her presence here at Jamaican Explosion. And yeah, Miss Mia, are you ready to come on, or are you still waiting? She said, okay, okay, let me bring her on. Let me bring her on and bring her on here. Okay, Miss Mia, a master coach, Mia
Yeah,
Hallen. Good evening.
good evening.
Okay, we had a little spare time there, so we figured that we'll just bring you on, knowing that you are always rich with information. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing wonderful. Each day, we can wake up and see the sunshine or the rain or whatever it is. It's a wonderful day.
Okay, and I'm glad that you mentioned the rain because sometimes we'll have some rainy days, huh?
Yes, we've been getting some rain here, so which is all good. My mother always says, when it rains, that's the Lord washing away all the negativity and cleaning the world. So, all good.
Okay, all right. So, in case you don't know her, let me introduce to you. She's been on the show before, and she actually is the one that sends us all most of the individuals who come on to Jamaican Explosion and represent on the strength of breed. And I really don't know how she does it, but because her plate is totally filled, and I see our other person, our other co-host. For the evening, guest for the evening, is also ready to come on. And we're going to have a couple of screens going here today. So let me welcome to the screens today Miss Debbie Jarrett.
Hello,
Okay. Uh,
hello.
okay, ladies, you all look like you're ready to go with a good chat session this evening.
Yes. Oh,
A good chat session. Oh, okay. Okay, so we're gonna speak to Mia first, and just tell us what's been going on with you, Mia, and we introduce the audience once again to where you reside and how you came into this master coach business.
well, I'm in Central Florida right now, and coming into becoming a master coach, it started back many years ago, and being a 24-year breast cancer survivor, friends, family has been referring me to, individuals and say, hey, I just have a friend who has been diagnosed with cancer or some type of chronic illness. What do I tell them? What do I say? How do I help them? So I just started talking to individuals and just sharing some of the things that I went through to try to uplift them, because when I was diagnosed, there was nobody really there. The doctors will tell you, you know, we can cure it, everything else, but they don't tell you about the emotional strain that you're
Mm-hmm.
going to experience, mental challenges, from the depression, the anxiety to sometimes having thoughts of suicide, like I did.
Mm, mm, mm,
So I was like, I'm doing all this. I said, I might as well go ahead and get my certification and get paid for it.
mm,
So, but I love helping individuals, because I know when you're blinded by certain things, and it's nice to have someone that you can share, what you went through to help motivate, inspire them that just because, your circumstances right now looks tough, it
mm,
looks depleting, it looks like some days I'm not going to make it, or
mm,
I just want to end it all, to say, it's okay, sis. It's okay, my brother. We can get through this. There is a silver lining at the end of the road, but sometimes we got to go through the storms, the tornadoes, the hurricanes,
mm,
sunshine.
mm.
So that's my job, and I love it. I love it helping, others people. So I first delved into the professional life coach. Then as I'm talking to clients, then all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute, there's a health and nutrition plays a role.
Yeah.
To that, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute now. There's some
Mm-hmm.
self-care issues going on. And after that,
Mm-hmm.
it's like the mental challenges. So I went back and got all those certification, and those hours I put in, and with clients and stuff, that became a master self coach in those areas.
Okay, so we have Miss Mia Allen with us, master coach, and we're going to be speaking about some mental health issues here. And joining her with me today is Miss Debbie Jarrett, and she's another champion in the area. You know, they're all champions here, and let's hear a little bit about your background, Debbie.
Hello, first of all, thanks for having me, Pastor Robin. As Mia said, she helps a lot of people. So big shout out to my cuz. I don't know if you know who we thank you for the opportunity. As far as my background, thus far I've gone to the University of Life's Experience.
That's all right. That's all right. No greater university there is.
School of Hard
Yes,
Knocks.
I dedicated most of my life to raising my family and
Mm,
them big now, so they're gone. So I am delving into my passions, dreams, and aspirations, and I am intrigued with
mhm.
mental health. And I too had some challenges
Okay.
going through a divorce and other things, and I know what it feels like, and
Mhm.
I'm thankful to God for giving me
Mm.
strength to be here today. And want to give a shout out to my organization. I'm always wearing a pin. It's a big joke. She doesn't go anywhere without her pin. Real connections. And I want to give a big congratulations to, we had an inauguration about a month, Mia, about a month ago,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
right? And Mia's organization, JAACF, was
Okay.
there to uplift us because we were doing unity. And our new Madam Vice President, Miss Lerna Wozencroft Franklin,
Mhm.
wonderful. And our new Madam Vice President, Miss Karen Lewin. It's the first time in history two women are leading. So that's historical.
Wow. Wow.
Coming,
So how did you two meet? You just met through the or are you really cousins in life?
I'm gonna let her
really,
tell that story right there.
you might as well let me tell Pastor Ron. From I met her, I said, I smell your blood. And she said, what? I said, Mia, we're too similar. And she looks like my family, the side of the family she wasn't familiar with. And through
Mhm.
talking, she came up with one name, and I said, bingo, that's it. So
Mm.
we found out, we compared notes, called people, whatever, and it's confirmed.
Yep.
Yeah, it's confirmed.
Okay.
And
That's
we're
good.
very happy. She is my rock.
Okay, very good. And so you share similar, somewhat similar stories, mental
Yes,
health stories, based on the situations that you have gone through.
yes, yes.
Okay, let's begin off by speaking about women's mental health. Women's mental health, which we've been dealing with here for quite some time, and I'd like to hear both of you ladies speak to me on that today. Why is it so important?
Pastor Rob, it's so vital. And
Mm-hmm.
as a woman, no, first let me start by saying,
Mm-hmm.
being a woman, we face unique challenges and the
Mm-hmm.
pressures in this world today. I can't count how many times that, you're watching the news or you're talking to someone and it's just constant, it's heartbreaking. So, we have to expect to be nurturers, caregivers,
Mm-hmm.
the pillar of strength each day, you know, and oftentimes we overlook our needs because we're doing so much.
Mm-hmm.
And in doing so, again, we neglect especially our mental and emotional well being. So, for me, it's time for us to have this open conversation about these issues, especially that affects women.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, my cousin, Miss Debs, we love raising awareness and providing, support within our sisterhood. So I have to give a big first shout out to the Jamaican American Association and my Queen's Keepers, because I'm telling you, that group right there, women, uh,
Mm-hmm.
words can't even express what these ladies mean to me. And um, recently, I just celebrated my 60th birthday, and my cousin gave me a diamond crown. These women treated me like a queen.
I do.
I'm telling you, it was like best birthday ever. I tell my kids, and they're like, "Really, mom?" I'll say, "Look here, let me tell you what these women did." So they were like, "All right, mom, I'll let that slide." you know but this is something that for years that I've always, I've watched shows that, women go on vacation together, and if something is going wrong, the next person, send that text out 911, and everybody's over at everybody's house, what's going on, what we need to do, and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know this is these things that these women represent,
Mm-hmm.
that unconditional love, the room to speak and not be judged. We can be
Mm-hmm.
open. We can talk about anything. We can laugh. We can cry. We can do anything and just be self. And
Wow.
that's what a lot of, women, that when, in creating, more of an understanding empowerment environment for women, and not just in the group I have, but everywhere, because we also, wear many hats of, being mothers, being daughters,
Mm-hmm.
being wives, the whole professional, running our business. It's easy for our own mental health needs to get
Mm-hmm.
back aside,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And again, taking care of ourselves is not a luxury or pampering ourselves at a spa, but it is absolutely necessity on our daily base. So
Yeah.
as we go into, the importance of mental health, and looking at that in the aspects of every single, our daily lives, our relationship, our work, our physical health, name it, it's a long list. We become, this running machine, and we run out of maintenance, just like our vehicles. When we don't maintenance our vehicle, eventually what
Mm-hmm.
happens? It breaks
Breaks
down.
down. Okay.
And that is us, our mental.
Miss Debbie,
Now,
you could chime in.
I can
Mhm.
chime in.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
We having a conversation here. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I want to chime in and piggyback on what Marcus said about my Queen's Keeper. I'm
mhm,
going to point out something to you that we cherish, Pastor Rob. See, if
Mm-hmm.
you go to an event,
Mm-hmm.
some of us live alone.
mhm,
Mm-hmm.
Better believe the first thing you're going to hear, that phone, bing, bing, bing. Are you home safely?
That's
yes.
good.
That
Mm-hmm.
means a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And we do a lot of jokes, we do a lot of inspiration. But the fact that there is a safe haven where women who haven't, in the past, haven't really trusted women,
Mm-hmm.
to have this refreshing blessing of a safe haven to trust, to speak, and know that it's not going anywhere. You're not being judged. You're being uplifted. For instance,
Mhm,
Mia has offered me opportunities. If I can offer someone opportunities, maybe somebody's looking for a job in the group. We help each other. We celebrate birthdays. We just love each other.
Okay, that support group, huh? That's going
Yes,
on. And
we're,
Mia,
we're sisters.
what's the name of the group that you mentioned, Mia? That's a very interesting group name there.
My Queen's Keepers.
My Queen's Keeper.
Yeah.
Wow, wow,
Because,
wow, wow.
sometimes when we're going through stuff, like, as, Debbie mentioned, we have to fix each other's crown,
Mm,
you
mm,
know, and, have that honest conversation when we start to notice that something's not right with our sister. What's going
mm,
on with her? How can
mm,
we help her? Even doing that, wellness check.
mm,
We haven't heard from her a couple of days, give her a call. What's going on?
Mhm. Mhm.
And having the ability to just open up and speak, and just sometimes listen.
mm,
We
mm,
don't listen. We go above each other's head, or, girl, call me whenever you feel better.
Yeah,
mm,
that's a
mm.
You know,
bad one. Mm.
And then, especially if they're dealing with mental challenges, they're sitting in silence.
Mm.
They may
And
be considering suicide.
yeah.
Um, I just a while back shared a story of a friend of mine that I happened to. I think this past Tuesday I talked about that. Um, her calling her, checking on her, and she said, "Thank you for calling me because right now I was considering committing suicide." Because she
Mm.
shared with a friend
Mhm.
that she was having all these emotionals ups and down, and she didn't know what was going on, why she's feeling that way. And her friend told us, like, you know what? Whenever you feel better, call me back. And not to say, hey, what's going
Mhm.
on? Let's get you some help, because sometimes they feel, okay, you crazy. I don't want to be around you.
Mm.
And we
Mm.
have to stop that, even removing that stigma that, you know, especially within the Caribbean and non-Caribbean community that, we ignore.
Yes.
Growing up, we were taught to not
Mhm.
talk about it
Yes.
and silence because whether the families are embarrassed or whatever it is, or we're going to take you to the pastor
Well,
and that devil out of you, pray that devil out of
Oh yes.
you,
yeah.
and sometimes, even, the names calling, you're stupid, you're crazy,
Crazy.
and that really need to stop. And again, as I go back to proper maintenance on ourselves to break down, because eventually we start facing unique stressors and challenges that can take a major toll. Sometimes we always think I've got it or
Mhm.
can do it all perfectly, but
Mhm.
because of society expectations and that gender norms, the
Yes.
mental load of running the household, it adds up
Mhm.
quickly, and to get to a point where we just shut down.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And so that's why mental health, self-care is so crucial on a
Mhm.
daily basis. And it looks different to everyone, so you have to tailor it according to your needs.
Mhm. Wow. And and I'm glad you mentioned the fact of even the Caribbean countries, specifically Jamaica, because we know that how many people could have just been suffering or with just a mental health issue, and folks just wrote them off as oh, crazy lady that, or that, oh,
Mhm.
she's crazy. Let's, what I'm saying. They didn't even realize that this is a situation that can be treated.
And when I was going through my time, the
Yeah.
worst thing was feeling lonely. It is
Mm-hmm.
horrible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And another thing I'd like to piggyback on what Mia said, you know,
Mm-hmm.
in our culture, we are raised, children are to be seen and not heard.
Mm.
That is so dangerous. It it's a breeding ground for
Mhm,
molestation. So if
mhm,
you're molested, God forbid,
mhm.
to be seen and not heard, you're told to respect your elders. But you
Yeah.
have to realize and teach your children that your elders must respect you
Mhm,
as well.
mhm.
So
Wow.
a lot of refurbishing to do in what I love to call our village with the men, the women, the children, everyone. And I do believe that there is hope.
Okay, and we're gonna come back to that because I want to share about myself with that.
Okay.
When we get to the men's section, but we haven't finished with the women's section yet because I believe I was speaking with both yourself and Mia
Yes.
over the week, and about there's some competition going on with women. It just seems like uh,
Yeah.
finally trying to get it together, but there seems to be a lot of in between. What do you
We
call
call
it?
it
What's the word
BMW.
for it?
BMWs.
BMWs.
That's the
Bad
bad mind and wicked.
women. And look, look at Pastor.
Wow. Tell me about it. Explain to me what's going on there. Because
A BMW. If something happens, for instance, I get a promotion, I'm scared.
mm,
I used to be scared to say it because I would be the victim of jealousy, bad mind, as we call it back home, stabbing in
mhm,
the back,
mhm,
sabotage.
Yeah.
I once was head of something where I worked, and a file was missing, and it was actually planted in my office.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But luckily, I was smarter than that, and the person got fired, and it was a woman because she did not want me. But luckily, I was smarter than that, and I'm here.
Okay.
Person got fired, and it was a woman.
Okay, so I was checking into the chat right there, and and you probably heard it
Yeah.
repeated and repeated there. Yeah. So wow. Okay. So
Yes.
ah
Yes,
ah.
it's a lot. It's
And
a
you know,
lot.
So what's your advice for that? What why do you think it happens, and how can you go ahead and
I
give some
think
advice here?
I think that society has played a big role, and I
Mm-hmm.
refer to the Honorable Robert Nesta Marley,
Mm-hmm.
brainwash education.
Mm-hmm.
And to counteract that, I do a lot of writing. I wrote, like fingerprints, we are all different. We bring something to the table, and
Mm-hmm.
together we can unite.
Mm-hmm.
That is what needs to be taught, not even by words, but by
Mm-hmm.
actions. For instance, the Jamaican Cultural Connection and MIA's organization, Jamaican American Association of Central Florida, we
Mm-hmm.
are very close, and people are looking at us like, huh? But why not?
Mm-hmm.
Why not? And the old saying, actions speak louder than words, and that's what we emulate. And
Mm-hmm.
it's spreading.
Mm.
It is spreading. I found that through observation that people tend to be more comfortable within the realm of negativity more than positivity.
Mm.
Don't know why. Love is so easy, more than hate. As Dennis Brown sang, love and hate can never be friends. I choose love. Mia chooses love. More queens are choosing love. So there is hope. We are moving on. We are making a difference. But we can't change the world, but we can, encourage others to join in this movement of
Mm-hmm.
togetherness and unity.
yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
And
Well,
as Deb's just spoke on that especially when it comes to sisterhood, we have to be very careful of intentions. Because some come in there to dominate, to take over, and make the sisterhood bow down, to focus on oneself. And that's what we talked about, the BMW that are dressed up in pretty clothing. Too often we get caught up in, the competition, the judgment, the
mm-hmm.
negativity towards one another,
Mm-hmm.
make assumptions,
Mm-hmm.
gossip. We tear down each other instead of building up one another.
Mm.
When you start to see the toxic behaviors that help feed their self gratification lifestyle.
Wow.
And, we had that conversation about, even in the organization that you have women leaders or men, and you notice the difference, when women take charge to, you see the more aggressive behavior.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
We have to look back at too that going years back,
Mhm.
that men are always seated at the table. Women were not.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we have this opportunity to sit
Mm-hmm.
at the table,
Mm-hmm.
be leaders,
Yeah.
we feel that we have to be extra. We have to work harder, you know,
Yeah.
demand respect. Because sometimes some men, not saying all men, but some men don't respect a woman's authority, their ideas, their
Mm-hmm.
leadership.
Mm-hmm.
But for women, we don't have to do that. And
Mm-hmm.
kings, or queens, we have to work together and support one another.
Mm.
You know,
Wow.
they go
Wow.
hand in hand. So that has to stop. We just have to have a better approach. And as women, we can show more kindness, respect, and have
Mm-hmm.
intentions. Especially when you come into a group that you're looking to support one another,
Mhm.
learn from each other, and not take. Because there's some women that will come in there and they will take your ideas, what they can get, and go
Mm.
on.
Yeah. So
You know,
let me ask this question though. So, what are the women groups doing to address this? Are you having little uh, groups, little video conferences? What do you do to address this? Because someone might be walking around and they don't even realize that they're doing it until somebody points it out to them.
well, I think one, you have to be observant. Sometimes, things that go above our head.
Mm-hmm.
We have to pay attention, and
Mm-hmm.
we have to communicate with each other
Mm-hmm.
and talk. And even if, we notice, a sister is doing something,
Mm-hmm.
it's about pulling her aside and say, "Hey, sis,
Hmm.
I noticed that, whatever you're doing, it's about self.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what this group is about.
Mm-hmm.
This is a we, not an I group,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yes.
know." And not to embarrass her, because again, we have to look back at past trauma or whatever she has gone through. If she's
Mm-hmm.
been hurt by another women's group, has she been hurt by a friend, whatever it is, you got to get to the root of the problem. And she may not be realizing what she's doing,
Mm-hmm.
So you have to
Mhm.
get to understand that communication, and I'll point that out in a kind way, and not to allow her, let her feel bad or lower her, her self-worth. But
Right.
how can we change, so
Mm-hmm.
we can see your gifts, that you can share your gifts with us. We can share our gifts with you.
Hmm.
So it starts, at that communication and getting to the root of the problem, what she's going through, because we don't know her backstory. We don't know when she's at home, what's going on in her life. Don't assume that that's what she's coming. Even, individuals that have been bullied. Again, you don't know their past trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's a cry for help. So you have to look at, all avenues and just, try to get to the root of the problem and find a
Wow.
solution.
And Sigmund Freud always says who we are today is who we were yesterday.
Mm.
Maybe we had a bad relationship with mother, grandmother, or fathers, da 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 da.
Mhm.
So I like to quote Spike Lee, it's time to encourage each other to unlearn and
Mm-hmm.
structure,
Mm-hmm.
move on in a more powerful ground.
Okay. I just saw that a few people here that are tuned in. I've loved them to have jumped on the chat, but they're in the comments. Miss
Oh,
Joan Edgehill, just a big shout out to you this evening. And of course, Shauna Erlock McCullum, one of my cousins, and she's tuned in today and they're enjoying the conversation this evening. I'd like just to let you all know that if you go over to the YouTube link, and link on. I could have you on the screen with us. And then if you need to ask us a couple of questions today, then you are welcome to. Today, I have with me in the Jamaican Explosion Studios master coach Mia. Allman, and of course, Miss Debbie Jarrett, who's also strong in mental health, and they're just filling me in on some things that are happening with it amongst the women, and some that I'm surprised at, and some that I'm not too surprised at. But yes. But what we have to do though is, as I like what Mia says there, don't take people for granted. Uh, Maybe
mhm,
pull someone aside, have a
mhm.
conversation. You might just uh, through that conversation finds out that there's something going on at home or somewhat a traumatic experience over the years that they just haven't gotten over. I'll turn the conversation over to you guys again. Okay. What's
Oh,
another area as far as mental health with women?
well, I would like to pay homage to the great grandmothers and grandmothers
Love that.
who never got a chance to go to school to get their degrees. There was a time
Mm,
they stayed home. They, as the saying, barefoot pregnant. I don't like that term.
Mhm.
But that's what they were. But do you really realize who
Mhm.
they were? That's who had the
Wow.
strength. They
Wow.
doctors when those kids got sick.
Yes.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Pull up that bush, or
Mhm.
there were doctors, there were lawyers
Mhm. Mhm.
within the home when there were discrepancies among
Mhm.
siblings. They brought peace. There were farmers.
Mhm.
They were event planners. They were everything that people are now going to school for. That's why I don't believe in looking down on those that never got a chance to go get their degrees. No disrespect to those who have. And I want to
Mhm.
encourage women that it's never too late. My aunt, as I had said on your last program, she got her master's in nursing at age 80, just for her satisfaction.
That's all right, though. That's all right.
But and I was a little princess watching her because, as I said last time on your show, I said, I was talking about unity amongst the women in the village, and I said that the princess
Mm.
watching, I was that princess looking at my grandmother's sister and like, she's 80, but I respected her, and she taught me it's never too late to elevate
Uh,
without
um,
rhyming.
Miss Jared, as we speak about the grandmothers, and it took me back to a place
Yes.
back in Port Antonio where I was with my grandmother up in the Springbank area, and
Uh-huh.
those ladies, as you said, they were champion of
Yes.
medicines. They
Yes.
were, but they were wise. They were
Yeah.
so wise. And where did that knowledge base come from? And this is what I'm going to add to the conversation with.
Mhm.
There's another lady that probably live about 2 house down and 3 house down, but they were all in one. Everybody was. I didn't hear so much of the fussing and fighting. And that
Mhm.
everybody would look out for it. Everyone looked out for the other's family, and
Yes.
they seemed to just. Good morning, Miss Mary. How you doing this morning? Good
Mhm.
morning, is this your person? I didn't see you yesterday evening. No, no, I couldn't
Mhm.
do it. I was over with the children.
Mhm.
So it just seems like a more of a family back
Yeah.
in those days, huh?
Yes, there was a sense of, and that's why me and I and our fellow queens, we recognize that, and we just will not put negativity. We will not give up in doing our part to bring that back into
Hmm.
society. Because as the world changes, situations change. But that is what we're striving for, what you just said there, Pastor Rob.
Okay, I'm getting
Yeah.
back to the good old things, huh?
Yes, man. I mean, Miss Pansy, look here, I have to take this one. Go, doctor, you can't hold the rest of them for me. And Miss Pansy, them, think Miss
And,
Pansy, easy? Huh?
Yeah.
and it's good that it's good that remember those things because the things about
Yeah.
things I always hear people speak about when we talk about the good old family is that
Yeah.
everybody upon the avenue could have beat you.
Oh, yes.
Another thing. Think you do
And
that?
then you get another lick from your parents when they come home.
But
Mhm.
everyone, along with everyone that could give you a good thrashing when you use other place, everyone took care of you.
Yeah.
Everybody. And again, that's
Yeah,
what we're praying for, the refurbishing of that
yeah,
village.
yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
Miss
So,
Joan, I see that you're online there. Just a very good evening to you. Okay,
Yes.
very
Good
good.
hi,
evening,
Miss
Miss Joan.
Joan.
Okay, yeah. And
We
of course, of course. All right. So we dealt with the women. Let's anything else before we that you'd like to add before we kind of switch a little gear and start speaking about men.
And I think also too, just to end again, we have to implement some type of, self-care, the physical self-care, getting the
Hmm.
exercise, eating,
Hmm.
a balanced nutrition. We have to practice relaxation. For me, I take Mia days quite often and I shut down. Even Debs and I, we do the same thing. We go off the grid. She'll text
yeah,
me, hey, I'm going off the grid. You
off
got
the
to
grid.
shut down. And whether it's, meditate or, deep breathing or just to silence your mind,
Mm,
like pray and stuff. That helps our
Mhm.
mental and emotional, sometimes even journaling, to
mhm,
get your thoughts out. And we
Mhm.
have to set boundaries by
mhm,
saying no. Sometimes, we become this yes, yes person,
mhm.
and we become their dumping ground. So that has to stop. We have to again unplug from technology, sometimes shut down the phone, the
Oh,
TV, the tablets, everything, and just go outside, enjoy nature, reconnect. um, Even spending time with loved ones, again, joining a group, talking to a therapist,
mhm.
attending community events like our association does. And
Mhm.
finally, spiritual self-care. You got to practice gratitude. Spend
Mm.
time with the Lord, praying for guidance and that, and then just volunteering and implement self-love.
Mhm.
Yes.
Again, we don't love ourselves, and we don't think that give
Mm.
ourselves permission to love and to say, it's okay, I can't do this today.
Mhm,
I'm shutting down today. I'm going to
mm.
stop everything and just focus on me. So, again, with that self care,
Mhm.
self love is a must.
Wow. Wow.
Notice how it's self-love, self-care, but there's a stigma with selfish. There's a
No,
certain level of selfishness that's healthy
Mm, mm,
for
and
you.
it's not.
mm, mhm,
So that's
And just
good.
prioritize your self care according
mm,
to yours.
mm,
If you're not sure how to do it, talk to
mm,
your
mm,
your health care,
mm,
and see how you can tailor, your
mm,
self-care,
mm,
to maintain it daily,
Mhm.
to avoid the stressors. And if you're dealing with chronic illness and condition,
mm.
that also helps as well too.
Mhm.
Wow. Wow.
Awesome. Well said, ma'am.
Thank you.
So,
Wow. And also taking care of our space and our time, just finding the time to put some things aside and leave some things alone just for a while, and
mhm.
even leave some people alone for a little while, so you could get into that place where
You can.
because people will crash your space now. They'll get
Mhm.
into your hearing if you don't designate that time, if you don't set that time aside, and so forth
Mhm.
like that. You find yourself just going from one person to the other, and you never really accomplish anything. You get overwhelmed or bogged down with all different kind of issues. Finding that time and
Yeah.
having the putting aside that time for a me time, so to speak.
And
Yeah.
I'm
Sometimes, we have to do what you call spring clean.
Okay.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, getting rid of
mentally.
people that serve no purpose in your life
Mm-hmm.
and removing them. Because I
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
mean, allow other people that again serve purpose in your life, that's going to bring positivity, within you. So yeah, and remember, we got to feng shui our bodies, just like we feng shui our room. The mind, body, and spirit have to be
Mhm.
aligned, because when
Mm-hmm.
it's off balance, we're not going to function. So
Mm-hmm.
every year, and
I
I
can.
try to do that, like at the end of the year, sit back and look at
Mm-hmm.
your friends list. Did this person contribute to my happiness?
Mhm.
Did they empower me? Did they motivate me spiritually, mentally, and physically? If they didn't, time to go. Because again, you start the new year, you got to start it on a positive note.
And I can testify to that, that I cut out certain people out of my life. And the minute I did that, when you put them aside,
Mm-hmm.
new things come in. You have that space. And I
Mm.
listen carefully to what people say. And I wrote something once. I said, listen for the truth between noisy lines. Listen to those keywords. Listen to who, or look at who celebrates you when something happens, something good.
Mm.
Pay attention
Wow.
to that one. Yes, because they'll smile with you. As they say back home, not every kinty to smile with you.
What's that? What I can repeat it again?
No, that back home they used to say, look here, not every kinteet a smile with you. Not everybody
Oh,
is
oh,
smiling with you.
yes, of course, we get it. That's for real, huh?
Not
Mm.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about the men now.
Oh yeah, 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 man. We
All
have
in all, men.
Oh
we
man.
yeah, we have our own set of issues going on,
And
and
we have nothing but love and appreciation for them.
yes.
It's a good thing. It's a positive subject.
Yeah, yes, and as let me get back to the point that I was speaking about as
Mhm.
men and Caribbean men, Jamaican. I can't speak for the entire Caribbean, but I can speak as a Jamaican man. That we
Hmm.
were taught that children are to be seen and not
I heard.
heard, and I believe the men took that more to art,
Hmm.
uh, because mothers will talk to their children.
Mm.
True.
But for the love of me, I couldn't find out why Jamaican men just didn't want to talk to youths. I had a father, uncles, grandfathers, and so forth like that that struggled with that. I don't even know if they were struggling or it was just something that was in the culture, built into the culture that uh, you just don't speak to children. They would speak to the girls sometimes with the young boys. All you get was a steer, a steer down, or in my case, I and my father was a great man, but he was a quiet man. But I
Mhm.
can't remember having a full blown conversation with my father until I was around 18, 19.
Wow.
Seriously. And
Wow.
I love my father, and he
Of
was a loving man, but I didn't think it was my place to even begin a conversation with him, or
mm,
to and it because I guess it was somewhat out of respect and someone out of fear. you
Yes.
know
mhm,
so
mhm.
that's where I would like to speak with, and it has damaged even myself with my boys, because I have boys now that have grown, they're grown men now and so forth like that, but I too myself subconsciously uh, portray that. But these boys that I have here, they're Americans, but they're American, they're Jamaican
Mhm.
Americans. So they expected that, they couldn't understand what's going on, and I'm still trying to let them know that was a cultural thing,
It
you know,
is. It is.
and yeah. So let's talk about that for a second.
Well, I came up with an idea, and it's simply willingness. We have to have the willingness to
Hmm.
understand
Hmm.
men within our village. And like what you just said, it's a
Hmm.
great point.
Mhm.
And it just made me appreciate my dad because
Hmm.
he was a philosopher of sorts. He would get up
Hmm.
every morning on the veranda and
Hmm.
I'm crawling, I couldn't even walk. And he picked me up and talked to me. But he did the same with my brother. So that's maybe a unique situation.
Hmm. Hmm.
This is why I have empathy for men.
Hmm. Hmm.
I hear the men bashing. I don't like it. I say, okay, there's an issue, but where is it coming from?
From. Hmm.
Now, I'd like to talk about that these two words, strong woman, and what it means to men.
Hmm. Hmm.
There is a stigma connected
Hmm.
to when a man said, oh, you're too strong, you'll never get a man, or no man is going to want you because you're too strong. I really
Hmm.
like that, Pastor Al, because that is not true. But it is how they feel. So I ask myself, why do they feel like that?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
their wife or girlfriend, I'm going to piggyback to what Mia said earlier. Women
Hmm.
workforce feel that they have to, be more aggressive to be seen,
Hmm.
be respected, and maybe they bring that home to their husbands. So it's about awareness, the willingness to focus and identify what the issue, the challenge is. I don't say problem because challenges with understanding can be overcome. Now,
Mhm.
um, I consider myself a strong woman,
Mhm.
divinely strong.
Okay.
If it weren't for the power and the glory of God, I wouldn't be
Wow.
here right now.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I'm so proud to be that strong woman, the strong woman that got up out of that dark place and said, you know what, you are worthy because God
Mhm.
talked to me. The woman
Mhm.
who was strong enough to pray, the woman who was strong enough to say, let me take this to the Lord in prayer. Father God,
Mhm.
I, I believe in you, guide me. And he does. That's what the Holy
Mhm.
Spirit is for.
Mhm.
And no disrespect to those who have other religious beliefs. It's just
Yeah. Yeah.
speaking of. Um, and so this definition of you're too much of a strong woman, it really gets under my skin.
Mhm. Mhm.
um, I've interviewed men before. We had a show, we have a little Montagonian group, and I was hosting a show called His Needs and Her Needs, along with a
Yeah.
friend of mine. And
Mhm.
what was baffled me, the
Mhm.
men were so much more emotional. And
Mhm.
one yelled out, don't you all understand? We need you. We
Yes.
need you. We need to come home to peace. We need to come home and maybe we need a little space and we need you to stop, excuse me, ninging, ninging, ninging in my ears.
Mhm. Mhm.
We need you to understand us. All we
Yeah.
need
Yes.
is love, appreciation, peace.
Mhm.
It's all. They're not asking for much.
Mhm.
And then, infidelity comes into play when they
Mhm.
don't get what they need at home.
Mhm.
And is it the woman's fault? I won't say it's the woman's fault. What it is, lack of breakdown in communication, in
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah. So let me address a little bit from the man's point too, because a lot of times when if a man comes out and say, "Well, you're a strong woman," uh, uh, there is some to us men there is something else that's going on because
Mm-hmm.
we want strong women, we love strong women, we want women to stand up beside us, and we don't mind women that even will go step out and lead. But I think I heard Mia kind of allude to it a little bit. It's when uh, some women have gotten into a position
Mm-hmm.
that they have strived for a long time, and they get it, and they don't know totally how to deal with it, and so it comes across to the men as and especially now we talk about African men.
Mm-hmm.
On a whole, because we have been historically been on the bottom rung of things for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
We've gotten to a position where we are now accepted in the workforce. I worked at the post office till 23 years before I retired, and so
Mm-hmm.
forth like that. And the Caucasian a person or the Indian person would be given the promotion before they even look at the black man and so forth like that. In many instances, white women are given positions even before the black man is looked on. I'm talking reality here. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? And then here comes our queens. And
Mm.
here's somebody now that we know is going to respect us. Here's somebody now that I know that's going to be. And the first thing you do, she comes in there with an attitude, and you're the one that she's looking at.
And
Wow.
then
I've
and
run
then
into. So those are the ones now that I would say, my gosh, yeah, come on now.
and
You know,
then we get
we-
classified as
yeah,
the
Yes.
angry black woman.
The
okay,
bitter black woman. And then I'm
yeah.
hearing now with you saying that,
Hmm.
how
Hmm.
unfortunate that the good strong woman has to settle
Yes.
for the not so good strong woman who emasculates the man.
Mm.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, how do we resolve that? Because it is never personally my intention to emasculate a man. I always say, if
Hmm.
you want me to be your queen, you have to be my king. And I
Mm-hmm.
was blessed with such a person. He has gone on to glory now. And
Mm-hmm.
I was reassured that there are good men in this world. He supported me. He compiled all my poetry for me. He told me, Debbie, you got to step out the box. It's never too late. You can do this. When I was emceeing at one of the biggest gospel concerts in Montego Bay, this man got up out his chair because I love chivalry. That's my little thing. And he walked me up to the stage, escorted me to the stage. He
Mm-hmm.
had the utmost respect for me as the strong woman. But
Okay.
he knew my story though.
Yes.
And that's it. We have to know each other's story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One
So
of the other things that, as you're talking, Debs and Pastor
Uh-huh.
Shaw, we have to look at each other's love language.
Yes.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because, just like you looking for a man that is going to show you these affections, buy you
Mhm.
flowers, this and that, but he's the one that will take care of the household.
Mhm.
He's not going to go out there, do the yard and all that stuff, so we have to learn that love language to
Yes.
communicate with each other. And as we're, you know, women making more money, sometimes we forget to leave the business
Mhm.
outside and don't bring it
Mhm.
inside the boardroom home and
True.
just treat him as the husband, my partner. And every now and then, thanks, babe. Thanks for taking out the garbage. Or thanks for cooking dinner,
Yes.
and don't treat him like a servant. Go do this. Oh, I need you to do this. With a honey-do list,
Yes. Yes.
that gratitude. And make him feel like a man.
And
Praise him.
I want to piggyback on that. And this, my fiance that passed on looked at me one day and he said, "Thank you, Deb, for asking me for my opinion." As I would go through my poetry, I said, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And that made him feel a part of what I was going through. So again,
Mm-hmm.
communication
Wow.
and
Wow.
communication. It's a vicious cycle that I feel with the willingness to communicate will end, and we will once again get back to that village. And you ever notice when people get older, that's when they want to settle down with their spouse.
Mm-hmm.
they
Mm-hmm.
they want to settle down with the spouse. They want that love from the spouse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we're
So
Men just
so
want to be appreciated. They want to be loved and be treated as an equal partner. And so does
mhm.
women. The same thing.
Yeah. You
yeah.
know, so let me say that men, I believe, have just a harder time showing emotions. Communication. And that's where a lack of the communication comes in a lot of times. I really should just settle down and get some opinions from men and so forth, and just write a book about the Caribbean man, the Jamaican man, as far as even showing emotions and so forth like that. Because then someone looks at you and said, "Boy, that them soft," you know.
Thank
Uh,
you.
you know what I'm tell and then you have your peers look at as even as a teenager you grew up and you might have your first girlfriend and a group of guys come to you and say, but sure, where you going, sir?
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm just saying it in the terms that I know, but
Yes.
that
Yes.
that helps to break down the the freedom that we should feel in motion in expressing ourselves in positive ways.
And
And we
I
have to
think
go back to that generational curse,
first,
as a
yes.
young man, if a little, young boy is crying, you hear your father,
Mhm,
man
mhm.
up, wipe your tears,
Yes. Mhm,
instead of allowing to share his emotions. So as he gets older, that's all he knows.
Mm-hmm.
The
So
other
he's
day,
not going to show that affection. And if
yeah.
he's not being shown love from parents, he's not
Mhm.
going to do that in his, adulthood.
The
Mm-hmm.
other day, a platonic friend of mine lost his very best friend.
Mm-hmm.
We went out to dinner and he had to stop off the road and he broke down in tears. And all I did was this. And he looked at me afterwards and he said, "You don't think I'm a sissy?" I said, "No, I think you are a strong man." And I gave him the analogy that when a plant is wilting, it needs water,
Mm-hmm.
nourish it to grow. So you just nourished your pain, you just nourished your wilt, you're growing. Good for you. Cry some more. You want some more tissue? Go on, cry. You just
Yeah.
lost your very best friend.
Yeah, let it out.
Women in society, it's
Mm.
okay for us to be emotional, but not men. And that is not fair.
Mhm.
And I was just gonna say that it's all right because we've gotten that from women all of our lives, but two men going down in the same car and one
Hmm.
start to cry. You think
Hmm.
one will say, "All right, cry on my shoulder"? No, the man want to. What's
Um,
oh, okay? What's going on? But we should as you said, and I heard you said about that group. So
mhm.
it looks like we're making some progress within that area.
And
You
men
know,
have support groups. And
yes,
I
yes.
Yeah.
do know of men that go in the car and cry. Oh,
Yeah.
yes, yes,
Hmm.
absolutely. It's the world is shifting. I don't think it's getting enough attention.
Hmm. Hmm.
Things are happening.
Mhm.
Back against the Queen's Keeper. Maybe you can have King's Keeper.
Mm. Mm. That's a
And
that's a
church
thought.
ministry. Yes, yes, yes. Maybe you
That's
can
a
get the
thought.
spiritual
That's a
pastoral
thought.
will be guest speakers.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah. And,
Yeah.
and if you notice how I responded with it, I said that's a thought because that's how men look. Oh, I will think about that. You know,
Yes, and it's not a
we're
silly.
making baby steps. When I
Yeah.
say
Well,
that's a thought,
so
I
are
mean,
we. So
yeah.
are we.
Because at one point in time, men wouldn't think about even that. But at least
Hmm.
we're thinking about it right now. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
once you
we're
build a
beginning to see.
relationship and,
Yeah.
trust, they
Yeah.
will start to open up and know
Yes.
that this is a safe space,
Hmm.
and you're not going to be judged. And you just have to sit and listen.
Hmm.
And it's so simple. Men are looking for peace from women, and women are looking for peace from men. Did you know that?
Yes, yes, I totally agree with that.
At the
But we have to first find peace within ourselves.
Yeah.
Exactly. You have to love yourself through the self love, self care,
Mm-hmm.
and then you build your boundaries based on that.
Yes.
Hmm.
Now, again, for my personal love language, yes, I'm the strong woman who is doing this and that. The
Hmm.
greatest thing to my ears was when my fiance would say to me, "You know, honey, I'm so proud of you." That made
Hmm.
me feel, oh, you couldn't talk. Oh my God. It was better than a Kiska pop.
Oh, remember that Kiss Pop?
Just those,
Okay.
just those words.
Yeah.
It's so simple what we look for.
Hmm.
Yeah. Affirmative words.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Wow. Wow.
Absolutely.
Miss Mia,
Yes.
before we wrap up, anything concerning men? I love the advice. I love the idea of the groups getting together and just be honest and sharing our feelings. Uh, that's a work in progress with men. You
Hmm.
know, the I what I love though is the younger men. They're more they're it's easier for them. I see them. I see my boys,
Mhm.
the 24 year olds and even the 30 year, um, 34s and 35. They're so loving, and if you see them with your children, you can tell that there's been a switch. It's been a switch, and
Yeah.
and they're beginning to realize the importance of opening up and forming quality relationship with their children, and that's
Beautiful.
going to take. That's going to take a lot more communication in the process.
Pastor Rob,
Hmm.
do we have time for me to dedicate a poem to the men?
Yes, most definitely, most definitely. That's right on time.
Right on time? Okay.
Right on time.
This is
I
a
also
poem.
like to share one as well too.
Okay.
Okay, wow, wow. So we're gonna get two today. Wow.
Yes.
All right, man. You hear this? You hear this? Listen up. We're
Yeah,
getting
this
two
one is for
poems
the
today.
men. Mia, do you
Okay.
mind?
Yes,
Yes.
go ahead.
Go ahead. This one is titled Black Man by Debbie Jarrett. Black
Mm.
man, the hell you've been through. Know that we are here for you. Black man, they call you thugs. The jail upholds your mugs. Black man, while injustice thrust, find comfort upon our bust. Black man, we pray life opens your door. Enough is enough, no more. Black man, we see beyond your grin. You are crying from within. Black man, thrive and do your thing, knowing you are now respected, loved, and appreciated as a royal king. To all,
Wow.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you. On behalf of black men,
thank
I thank you. Okay.
you. We're going to get it together.
Mhm.
Thank you.
hmm. I want to share this poem. I put my glasses on so I can read, and it's from Joan M. Scott Lewis, which is Joan Edgehill, or her book, Still We Smile.
Mm.
And
Okay.
this poem is called Those Words. Those words, words like thunder, defeating the sense, rampling insult of anger and rage.
Mm.
Those words, words like lightning, flashing, frightening, fiery bolts, shocking the systems and piercing the mind. Those words, words like tornadoes, twisting and turning and terrifying, violently tearing at the fabric of the soul. Those words, words like hurricane, flooding waters, winds of force, victorious earthquake of destruction. Those words, let us weather those words, poisons to twinkle young dreams, the promise and light, threatening with pain. Those words, exchange those words for words of kindness and peace, purpose to inspire and poised to usher warmth and delight.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, ladies. I think you have inspired us this evening.
Well, we're
And
happy about that.
you have inspired us this evening. And you know, I love the both poems, but I love the words.
Thank
You
you.
know, the words. You know,
Thank
yes,
We got to be careful of our
the
words.
words.
We want
Yes,
queens to be okay and we want the
it
kings to be
needs to
okay.
be okay.
We don't want to bash one another. We want peace. We want
Uh, we,
celebrate.
we,
Unity.
we want
Yes.
unity, lift up and build each other.
And
Hmm.
remember, the children are watching. So,
Yes, wow.
Yes.
Ladies, I believe that we have come to the end of our session today, and I have a lot to chew on, a lot of meat, a lot of meat here. You know, sometimes you get milk, and sometimes you get meat, and you know, it was very meaty today, and I want to thank you both for coming on, Master Coach Mia, Alan,
Mhm.
and Miss Debbie. Thank you. It's always a pleasure to have you in here, and you know, I love when you guys throw the poetry in. So multi-talented, multifaceted. You know, and we just enjoy you here at Jamaican Explosion. The strength to breed. this evening was excellent. And we didn't have a lot of people that came online, but there's a lot of people in the chat,
Oh,
in the chat, the Facebook chat. Okay, so I want to thank you both for being on, and we're gonna say until next week. Okay,
and
we'll
Thank you,
come back
Pastor
next
Shaw.
week, and it
thank
was a
you,
pleasure. It was a
Pastor Shaw, and
pleasure.
see you next month. I'm going to be at Christine Newton's festival in
Okay,
Jonesboro. She was on a couple weeks ago, so I'm going to be doing poetry representing Jamaica.
looking forward to that. Any
Thank
last words from you, Miss Mia?
Again, um, just pay attention to your mental health. Take care of it. Do not sit in silence. Talk to someone and continue to maintain some type of self care, self love in all that you do daily. And don't look at it as a sign of weakness.
That's
It's
right.
a sign of getting to a place of wellness.
Yes.
Okay, and as we say here on Jamaican Explosion, until next time,
Walk
walk
good.
good. All
Well,
right. Have a
okay.
blessed,
Thank
have
you,
a
Pastor.
blessed evening and a blessed tomorrow, ladies. Okay.
You
You
too.
too, Pastor.